Hi everyone, welcome back to another function. This is Krish Bavana. If you are for the first time, I'm a computer science student at University of Illinois at Chicago and I'm minoring in entrepreneurship. Firstly, thank you so much for those lovely messages. I've been responding to everybody who has been DMing me on Instagram. I'm really sorry if I haven't replied to you. Yes, for sure I will reply to you also. So if you're planning to follow me, you can follow me at Krish_Bhavana on Instagram. You can always DM me, I will for sure reply as soon as I can. And then if you're here for the first time and you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do hit the subscribe button and also please don't forget to hit the bell icon. So yeah, let's get started with today's topic. Coding journey. This was the most requested video for me in the past 2 weeks. Many people has asked me, please tell about your journey and how you started coding, or when you started coding, or what languages you have started to code in. So I've decided to make a video on how my coding journey has begun. And to everybody who's been asking me about those 14 projects, this is not the video. I'll make one more very soon on those 14 projects, so please stay tuned for that. And now coming to the story, when did I actually started to code? I started to code when I was in my 10th grade. I took this class called Programming 1 in my high school. This was one of my technical electives. So I wanted to take something which I can challenge myself. So I took Programming 1, which was Python based class. So in Python based class, I really had no issues. I was really happy with what was happening. I don't call myself like a perfect scorer or somebody who got all A's, but I did pretty decent. I think I got like a B plus one semester and a B another semester. Everything went really smooth, really well. So Python was fine. And now I was really excited about Java because I wanted to get that A which I missed in my 10th grade. So I took it as a challenge and then I took AP Computer Science. So anybody who's outside of USA, AP stands for Advanced Placement. So I took this class called Advanced Placement Computer Science. So Advanced Placement Computer Science focused especially on Java in my high school. So it was really challenging class, but I was really excited about it because I wanted to get that A. I was really learning from day one. I was really excited about what I was writing. I still remember I wrote a program called Turtle on the day one and I wanted to get that A. And then finally I wrote my first exam. I got a C. And then I prepared so much. I wrote a retake. I got C again. So I decided to give one more try for the second exam. I took it again as a challenge. I wrote it. I got C again. Nothing improved. Nothing happened. I had my first parent-teacher meeting and as you expected, it didn't go really well. I was really disappointed with whatever was happening. I was expecting a good grade, but that didn't happen. And also, it was really hard to see C's because I really never had C's in my high school career. I pretty much maintained high B's or A's. But all of a sudden I had to see my first C and that was really hard to take. And then the remaining exams didn't go well too. They got even worse. I just passed that class because of the project's labs, but exams I really didn't do any better. So I was really disappointed after the first semester. And second semester got even worse. At one point I had no idea what I was doing. I had no thought about what was happening. I got too frustrated. And in first semester I even stopped caring about other classes. I just put my 100% attention on computer science, but still that didn't help. So second semester I came up with another strategy where I decided to give some time to other subjects too. Especially I have AP Physics at the same time, and then I had Research and Design, and then that was the right time I was moved from a program called English Language Learners to normal English classes. So there was a lot happening with myself and I was being the photograph editor for the first time. So if I didn't perform well in my classes, they would probably take me off from the leadership positions because they want somebody in the leadership positions who do really well in classes too. So I was really scared. I had no idea what was happening. And second semester started, same old story. It was going really bad and all the exams I was not performing well. And I used to get so frustrated with what I was doing. And then finally I came to an end. I have no idea how I crossed that phase because that was one of the most painful phases. But yeah, Java I did really bad. And then I used to feel so ashamed of myself because I didn't perform that well in Java. And sometimes I used to cry because I was not giving my 100% best. And finally I crossed that Java phase with a 79%. And now I took it as a challenge. And then I decided to see just Ace. I took a 6 months gap from coding. I didn't code anything. I didn't think about coding. I was just focused on getting into college. So I got into college with mathematical computer science. I was not just a computer science, I had both math and computer science because I was not really confident about computer science and I was more into data science at that point of time, so I took math and computer science. And once those 6 months are over, I decided to give few more months not to touch any code. So I gave 3 more months and I didn't touch any code, and then once my actual graduation is over, I took it as a challenge thing. I used to just sit in front of my computer and then I used to look at a Python lecture in the morning from like a random YouTuber, and then I used to try that code, and then it used to go as a process, and then at the end of the day I used to talk to my dad about everything that I learned. That was like a constant circle. I mean, when I was in high school I was not so comfortable talking about coding with anybody, but I have learned to talk with my dad about like what are the programs that I was doing that day, and that really helped me. Now I just talk about coding with all my friends. Hey my friends, if you're hating it, love you guys. But yeah, I used to just talk about code. There was nothing else that was happening in my life at that point of time. It was constantly writing code, improving my code, learning what were my mistakes, talking to my dad. It was a constant circle. I always wanted to learn something, and finally that was the phase that I've learned something really powerful, and I was really comfortable with what I was writing, and then I was finally ready for my college. When I was going into college, I had that bit hesitation because I never got A's before in coding. I thought maybe I can never get A's in coding. So I was really self-conscious of what I was doing, and I wrote my first exam in college. I got an A. I've completed Python, C, C++ with A's. That was my journey in coding. So there were a lot of downs before I have seen some ups in my coding career, but still whatever I have done after coming to college I feel really proud about, because there was a lot of time that I've put in to make myself better. And now finally I've written 22 projects including personal projects in 2020 and 14 projects in one semester. So yeah, that was my journey. And now if somebody asks me what languages I can write in, I can write it in multiple languages very happily without having no hesitation. So what are the tips that I can give to anybody who's starting coding or who's struggling in the beginning stages of coding? Tip number 1 is practice a lot. I mean, for example, if you're learning a concept today, just go back and then try to write your own program in it. For example, take something simple like loops. For example, if you have learned how to do loops, maybe write a program at the end of the day where you feel confident about it. It doesn't have to be anything big. It can be something small. It can be something like 10 lines. But make sure you write it so that you can remember what actually happened in class today or what you have actually learned. If you don't practice it, there is no way that you can get better at it. Tip number 2, it is okay, absolutely okay to make errors. I know there are times you get so frustrated that you're getting errors. There will be syntax errors, there will be logic errors. Sometimes if you're working with memory, you'll be super frustrated with those SIGPy errors. But trust me, it is completely okay to make errors. Just make errors, learn from them. Every day, write code, make errors, learn from them. It is okay because you can always fix your code. There is no such thing called this is final thing. When you're in your practice zone, you can always give your 100% best. I mean, when you're working, of course, there's no way that you can send something like with errors. The code base is with you. Do as many errors as you can. Fix them by yourself, and then try giving your best unless the program works. Just don't leave it in the middle. Tip number 3. Make it a habit to write a pseudocode. Many people that I've met in my life tells me that they hate writing pseudocode, but anybody who I've met of elder age really loved writing pseudocode. When you're solving a problem, for example, if you're doing a project, always make it a habit to write a pseudocode, because you know the steps. You technically solve the problem on paper. When you solve it already, it is always easier to move it onto computer. I personally really like writing pseudocode and drawing memory diagrams, because I know what is actually happening before I put my code. For example, sometimes there were days, for 3 days straight, there was nothing on my code base. Everything was on my paper. And then from 4th, 5th day, I used to jump onto the code and I used to write it super quickly. So make it a habit to write pseudocode once you're comfortable with it. And now, tip number 4. Make a mini project during the weekends. For example, in a weekday, you've learned how to do while loops, for loops, and then if statements. Maybe do a mini project using all 3 of them during the weekend. It doesn't have to be anything big. Make sure the project is less than 100 lines, but make sure you're trying to implement the concepts that you have learned during the week. I think that will really help you. You can complete this in like 2 to 3 hours max. Don't spend more than 3 hours on anything like this during the weekend. This 3 hours is just to make sure that you understood what you have actually done within the week. And the final tip for the video is to read the documentation. If you get stuck at anything, read the documentation. Or for example, if you're trying to learn a certain concept, completely go onto a documentation site and completely read it. I mean, you can find resources super quickly. They're all over the place. And personally for me, because I used to work a lot in C++, even now I work a lot in C++, I like C++ reference. I can find it everything. And for Python, I have Python docs. So yeah, you can always find resources online. Read the documentation. If you ever get stuck, you can always find a better solution. And please know that there's a difference between plagiarizing something and there's a difference between getting inspired. Sometimes a single method can inspire you to write your own code in your own style, but please never plagiarize, because some people spend a lot of time on writing that code, and then if you just simply copy paste it, there's no point in it. So while I was looking at the edit table yesterday, I just realized I forgot to tell one thing. That is, I'm taking Java after 2 years, actually 3.5 years. So I'm really looking forward for this class now, and I'll let you know how Java went for me this time. So for sure, I will tell you at the end of the semester how Java went. That's the story for today. Thank you so much for watching, and if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe to my channel, and also please hit the bell button. Please like, share, and share with all your friends and family who's interested in coding, and also please share them if they're looking for something like a mixed kind of content. So I'm really excited to see you all next week. Actually, maybe before next week. See you all. Keep smiling. This is Krish Bavana.